The Equalities watchdog is today urged to investigate whether women have been unfairly discriminated against in the coronavirus pandemic. Campaigners called on the Equality and Human Rights Commission to probe whether the government has breached equality law during the COVID-19 crisis. A letter signed by groups including the Trades Union Congress, Amnesty International, Save the Children, the Child Poverty Action Group, the Fawcett Society, Women's Aid and Mother Pukka says ministers failed to uphold their legal duty to consider the impact of policies on women and promote the letter, seen by the Mirror, warns, this is a time of crisis for women. The coronavirus pandemic is having a significant and disproportionate impact on women's health, jobs and livelihood. The policy decisions taken by government and other key public bodies in response to coronavirus are worsening the impact of the pandemic and deepening inequalities faced by women. The consequences of these decisions will affect women for years to come. They say women have been disproportionately hit by job losses and furlough because they are more likely to work in retail and hospitality, industries hardest hit by the crisis. The groups also say women have taken more responsibility for homeschooling and childcare, with face-to-face lessons acts from Maternity General Secretary Frances O'Grady said, at every stage of this pandemic the needs of women have been overlooked. Low-paid women have been excluded from getting sick pay. Self-employed women who have taken maternity leave have lost out on vital financial help, and women have had to take on primary caring responsibility. The impact of school closures and childcare has put many women in an impossible situation because the right support has not been put in place. This is forcing many to cut their hours at work or leave their job. When you look at the sum of women's experiences in the pandemic, it is clear that this government do not understand women's lives and are ignoring the hardship their policies have caused. That's why we are asking the EHRC to use its legal powers to investigate. We shouldn't have to do this, but ministers have stubbornly refused to review the impact of their policies on women, as the law requires they do. If we don't act now, women's equality could be set back by decades and women's and children's poverty could soar. Anna Whitehouse, of campaign group Mother Pukka, said, equality isn't a nice to have, it's a fund. The Equality Act has somehow been swept off the table as privileged fathers in politics, often with nannies, decide the fate of mothers. The lack of action by the government is calling. Women have been backed into a corner where they are being forced to choose between We are quite literally being forced out of the economy as the government marches on, seemingly nonplussed by the fact that we are going to wake up in 1951. London School of Economics Associate Professor of Global Health Claire Wenham said, despite a wealth of evidence demonstrating the disproportionate impact of COVID-19 on women, the UK government has continued to bury its head in the sand. This is not good enough and is failing women across the UK, and will continue to do so unless urgent action is taken to mitigate against the structural barriers women face to social, economic and civic participation. Defending the government's handling of the virus response in relation to women, a spokeswoman said, the contribution that women make to the economy is crucial, which is why we've set out an unprecedented offer of support, including help for the sectors they are more likely to be employed in, protection for female-led startups and new childcare. Every department considers equality impacts in their policymaking, and an Equalities assessment of the Coronavirus Act was published last year. As we seek to build back better following the pandemic, everyone will play a crucial part, and we will reflect that in our policy development.